on the program, the platform, the pinnacle of all discussions right here on Flow 94.9 FM. Even as we also take another look at the Electoral Act, Electoral Act 2022, which has been amended to allow statutory delegates, including Mr. President, but that has not been signed into law by Mr. President, even as the primaries have started. So what is the implication of this? And we understand that the president, that has been transmitted to the presidency, the executive, for append for the signature of the president, but the president is still doing his checks to ensure that he signs the right document, I believe. But anyways, we look at that. We look at the PDP primaries over the weekend, what happened yesterday, and we look at the losers and the winners as we do the analysis, how it may affect the success or the failure of the PDP come 2023 general elections. My name is Michael Oni. I do have my friends, my colleagues joining me this morning, even as the actors they decided not to talk about this. I'm talking about the actors involved in the primaries that took place yesterday. They've refused talking to the press, hopefully, especially those of them that are aggrieved, or hopefully to use the internal structure of the party to fight their way and to also talk their way out of whatever is getting them angry and aggrieved, and hopefully they will speak to us in the coming days so that we have an idea of what is happening in the party. We will take the political update now. When we return, I'm going to introduce my guest in the studio, even as we have our journalistic view, opinion of what's played out over the weekend, even as we look at the Electoral Act, Electoral Act again. Hopefully this will be the last time we'll be looking at this act, because 2023 is fast approaching. In fact, this month, May 29, will mark it will be exactly a year that Mr. President will be leaving office, and we will be having another transition of power. It is Flow 94.9 FM, the flow of God's own state.
This is Political Update. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the appointment of Mr. Anamekwe Chukwunyere to oversee the office of the Accountant General of the Federation. This was disclosed by Tolu Ogunleshi, one of the media aides of the president, in a statement issued via his Twitter handle on Sunday. According to Ogunleshi, Nwaboko is expected to oversee the office of the OAGF pending the outcome of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission investigation of the suspended AGF, Ahmed Idris.
You actually remove a chunk of the major stakeholders, political stakeholders of the party. So that will lead to, if that goes through, even in cases where there are consensus unity, you aggrieved party members who always resort to litigation, to try and make sure that their rights are enforced. Yes, in my opinion, that's a critical sign of clumsiness, with the National Assembly, because bills are intended to be there. It's true that.
As politicians await the signing of the amended Section 84, Subsection 8 of the Electoral Act to allow statutory delegates participate in their party's primary and conventions, former Abia State lawmaker Chukwuemeka Sambaka has highlighted the dangers of excluding critical party stakeholders from the process would mar the democratic fortunes of the country. President Muhammadu Buhari is expected to assent to the amendment as political parties kick off their nomination process, but the silence of the presidency has left many politicians jittery. However, Sambaka, who was on Free FM's parliamentary program, The Legislature, decried the flaws on the part of the lawmakers who passed the bill without critical consideration of that section of the Act.
Let me start by saying that I did not step down. I only protested an illegality. I'm a living petition of many years standing, and I cannot validate an illegal process. I protested the use of a three-man delegate list, essentially written by one person. I didn't step down. I boycotted it, and if they do not address my grievances, we'll take it up to the next level. That is essentially what I did. Secondly, we found the presence of names on the list of people who are political appointees. The Electoral Act 2022 is very clear in section 52 that you cannot political appointees. Is there any section 84 sub 12 that you can't use political appointees?
The People's Democratic Party (PDP) in Abia State yesterday conducted the primary election to elect candidates who will represent the party for House of Assembly and House of Representatives in the
It is not bogus as it used to be in the time past. It's only made up of 3 members from each ward.
Meanwhile, the acting publicity secretary of the PDP in Abia State, Abraham Ama, is insisting that the process remains credible as the delegate list was made open to all aspirants and delegate election duly conducted in line with the Electoral Act. Speaking to Flow FM News on the exercise, Ama said the result of the election will soon be announced as the process was supervised by the delegation sent from the national headquarters of the PDP. And that was Political Update. I am Wisdom Thomas.
Thank you so much for joining us. It is the platform, the pinnacle of all discussions. Many thanks to Wisdom for bringing us up to speed. Just a bit of what happened over the weekend. We will delve into it for you and do the analysis so that you can have an idea fully of what happened over the weekend and make your decisions. It is left for you to take that decision because the events of yesterday is shaping the political scene in Abia State, especially as far as the ruling party is concerned in the state. First, you heard the controversy surrounding the 3-man delegate list. Some persons claiming there was no Congress that produced that list, but the party went ahead with the House of Assembly primary election and also the House of Representative primary election. Some big names losing out in terms of winning, while some names made it while it was rocked with withdrawal. We had the aspirant citing irregularities and being skimmed out by their party, aspirant of the People's Democratic Party. We look at this morning and we talk politics, proper party politics to be precise, even as we look at the Electoral Act 2022 rather, that the president has is yet to append his signature to include statutory delegates. Anyways, let's delve into the conversation. I have joining me my friends and my colleagues right in the studio. Samson Eze, good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us this morning on the platform on Flow FM.
Kenika, respond to this guy. He was nowhere to be found yesterday.
This is a serious show, guys.
When it mattered most, we didn't see him. He bolted, just like he bolted with my campaign fund. Abia was politically inflamed yesterday, and you were nowhere to be found. Where did you go?
I was
on an important day. You were consulting with the Oracle.
I was consulting.
At Tukoba.
Yes, I was consulting.
With those maidens.
I was. Anyways, Gidika Oloha, good morning to you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. The pinnacle of all discussion.
Right,
this is pinnacle, right?
Yes, it is pinnacle of all discussions. You guys monitored what happened yesterday, as far as the PDP is concerned in Abia State. It was mad with withdrawal. I have the list of I'll call it avalanche of aspirants who withdrew. I have the list, about 12 of them. 12, 13, 14, 15. I have about 15 names here. I know there were more persons that withdrew. Anyways, what do you make of what happened yesterday in the PDP in Abia State?
Well, it was largely expected. The moment the president jetted out to Dubai, he didn't return early enough, and the moment he decided to latch on the constitutional space, he has 30 days to do the needful. The moment it became clear that PDP, they were not even ready to listen to the agitations from their own members.
Yes.
Because the agitation was, if you're saying that this 3-man delegate election held, where are the lists, and all that contention, the state working committee members, they kept the list close to their chest, and I don't know what time they showed it to the contestants. And that moment when it was clear enough that they were not ready to listen to dissenting voices, I knew it was going to be like this. And the non-signing of the amendment by the National Assembly members to the Electoral Act just drove the last nail to the coffin. And as it is now, they are up against the devil and one other hard object. The hard object here. The hard object here is the implosion that is staring them on the face.
Yeah.
The devil is that the court might nullify whatever they have done if they do not put their house in order. They are claiming, they are saying that they did the right thing, but it will now become a subject of judicial interpretation. But in terms of inter-party tranquility and peace, they failed to achieve that. In terms of galvanizing themselves, I think it will be a battle against self, a storm in the teacup, while people will be busy campaigning. Most of the candidates that emerge through this kind of process, they will be busy trying to they'll be searching for credibility while people will be campaigning. It's a long haul, and like I've always done, I wish them the best, and we are promising them full reportage however they choose to go about
Let me bring in Ginika here. Ginika, you've been in the field for donkey years, covering primaries, covering elections.
This was exceptional.
What do you make of what happened yesterday? You monitored the primaries that took place right here in Abia State. A lot of aggrieved members of the party. We've never seen this number of withdrawal during the primary election. It is unprecedented in the history of the PDP primaries in Abia State.
Well, we saw this coming. If you remember before now, when they started the crisis, they said there was no crisis in PDP. And we said the crisis were just too much, too many of them. But the party members said, no, this PDP is a family affair. We are going to resolve it. They didn't resolve it until at some point, the secretary of the PDP here in Abia State was suspended. They said, no, it's just a normal thing. He acted outside his purview, the purview of his office, right? As time goes on, we also learned that the office of the PDP here in Abia State was locked. And we said, there are still crises. Resolve this crisis before you get into the election. They said no. And then again, the issue of the three-man delegate election came. It wasn't, they said, no, it didn't hold. Some said it held, and the rest of them. Even the court, some people approached the court, got an injunction to stop that election from going on. Some other people went to the court and vacated it. So we saw this coming, and this is where we are. I mean, this is where they are, because we are not supposed to be part of them. We should be watching from the sidelines and see what others keep us.
Yes, guys, some persons will say that there is no way a primary will be conducted without having aggrieved members of the party, people that are not at home with what was, because this is not the first time that you will have people that are not comfortable with the outcome.
Well, like I was saying,
okay,
don't forget that this issue of zoning started long time ago, and this is where this disagreement also started, and we were saying resolve this issue. Now, yesterday, if you notice, so many people, I think that started very early in the morning. Some of the aspirants, they went to their Facebook page to announce their withdrawal from the contest of yesterday. But they said, some of them said that their names will be in the ballot. That means it's simple. If you say you are withdrawing from PDP's contest of yesterday, but your name will be in the ballot, that means we have 18 political parties that are registered by INEC. That means if the PDP, they are not able to resolve whatever issues they are having right now, of course, some of them may have to pin their tent with some other political parties. And that means a great danger for PDP. No matter how you look at it, even if you say, yes, you are in control of the state right now, but don't forget, you still need these stakeholders in various wards, various local governments to deliver the
before
party.
We talk about the stakeholders, let's look at the winners and the losers of yesterday's election, looking at it politically. Who are the stakeholders that won and those that lost? Apart from those in the ballot, I mean, those that participated in the primaries, the aspirants, those that won and those that lost. Who were those that won and who were those that won? It looked like a battle between, it looked like a battle of the governor being in control of the party in the state.
Okay, like yesterday, we monitored Umuahia Central, Umuahia Central State Constituency. One of our colleagues Jude also participated. But I was expecting him to say, okay, actually the process was flawed. But he never said that. He said it was a fair contest, but that he lost.
He already congratulated.
Yes, he actually congratulated the person that won. Probably because of his background. He appears a very, he appears a gentleman. Probably because of the journalistic background that he has. Probably that's why. But the issue is this: he has accepted defeat. But some other people said no. The election did not hold. It did not follow the due process. Like the man I spoke with, that actually was gunning for the federal
Chijioke.
Yes,
he's the head legal services.
Because when I saw that story that he stepped down for the other woman, Neno KJ, immediately I sought to know what happened. He said he never stepped down. He only actually protested the process, because he cited section.
The information coming from the camp of Honorable KJ is that he stepped down.
He said, but you heard him now. He said he never stepped down.
Yes.
That the process was marred by irregularities, and he cited section 8412, where he said that most of the delegates,
yes,
as contained in the delegates list, most of them were appointees of the state government, special assistant.
Can he prove that?
Well, he is a lawyer. He's a lawyer. He's the
head legal services of the Nigerian Governors Forum.
So he should know better, not me. I'm just quoting what he said. So that's why one of the reasons he actually said he was not going to continue with that contest.
And
so many other people may have their reasons
of that act.
Yeah.
Appointed officers by the governor or the federal government cannot be voted for or cannot vote, cannot participate in primaries, cannot be delegates.
Let's look at let's look at where the problem even started, because the base here is that the foundation is faulty. It's not just about what happened, what transpired, how many delegates per ward through the elective process that the act later threw up. Probably 3. Then how many, like in the Umuahia state constituency?
Yes,
you had Jude, 9 persons voting for how many persons?
But those are for the ad hoc delegates.
Yes,
because the president did not sign the other one.
Okay, now we're saying, how did you arrive at this? I watched Festus Okoye last night, and he was very emphatic. If you did not go through the right process to get those who voted, you may have just conducted one academic exercise
or bazaar,
bizarre bazaar, political bizarre bazaar, just another way of seeing your party faithful, like head count, anyhow, a fiesta. It's not been up to fiesta. Did they cook rice? It's funny because they have actually scored an own goal. They should have listened to the voices.
But
even if that Congress,
we do not have an idea of those that are in the list, because it was not made public. That list was not made public.
My worry is,
and then the aspirants were supposed to know these guys on time, reach out to them, but then from nowhere, it got the list. It dropped from nowhere.
My worry is this: did they actually notify INEC? As in, did they send this particular delegate list 7 days before this contest? Because from what Festus Okoye said, that's the requirement of the electoral law.
I want to believe they did, because we cited in some of the places where we were, we cited some INEC officials who monitored. And then, if in all these controversies, PDP national headquarters sent people to come and monitor the exercise here, could it be that it is true that the exercise held no matter where? I mean, the constitution of the party did not say it must hold in so place. It could have held in some hotels. It could have held in some.
The electoral law said that you must notify the INEC. Anywhere you want to hold it, tell them 7 days before the time. And if you want to change venue, you can also notify them. But the issue is, did they actually do that? Did they actually send this to? But we may have to get that clearer from.
Maybe we should look for
the publicity secretary of PDP.
Get him on the phone. Let's find out if they did the right thing. If they did not, well, they would always say they did the right thing. But the big ones, Ginger lost.
Ginger Musibe.
Your friend, the man from Okwa, one of the ancestors in the National Assembly.
He's not my friend. He's just a politician. Honorable Nkema Bonta.
He withdrew.
Yeah. Let me run through the list. I have the list here.
The people that adopted the withdrawal method.
So, okay, we have the
Chief
acting publicity secretary of the People's Democratic Party in Abia State joining us this morning, even as we continue the analysis of the primaries that started yesterday with the House of Assembly and the House of Representatives. Honorable Abraham Ama is joining us. Chief, glad to have you join us. Good morning to you and welcome to the platform on Flow FM. Can you hear me?
Convention and public information. I am the state vice chairman of the PDP and zonal chairman Abia North. I am only acting at the meantime as the publicity secretary of the party.
I mentioned the fact that you're acting. So can you bring us up to speed of what happened yesterday, what led to the avalanche of withdrawal by aspirants of your party, and how will you describe yesterday's exercise? Was it largely successful?
Yes, what we had yesterday, we had primary elections in the states, and for 8 House of Representative federal constituencies. And as I speak, we had a very, very peaceful primaries all over the states. We only have very, very few inconclusive elections. We had inconclusive election in for Isukwato Omunochi Federal Constituency. We have another one for Aruchuku or Hafia Federal Constituency, and then we have the Omunochi State Constituency was also inconclusive. Obingwa State Constituency was also inconclusive. But for the other ones, they have been concluded, and it was a very peaceful exercise, which was monitored by the Independent National Electoral Commission of Nigeria.
Okay.
And we also have Ubunabo. Ubunabo is also in state constituency.
Why were those state constituencies, why were they inconclusive?
Some of them were based on the logistic reasons. For logistics reason, that was why they were. Because yesterday, as a result of the very tight situation we find ourselves, we conducted primaries for both the state constituencies and the federal constituencies together yesterday. So the issue of time management at a point in time caught up with us, and it was very, very difficult to meet up with some of the challenges, and it affected mostly federal constituencies at the extreme, like Aruchuku or Hafia Federal Constituency and Isukwato Munochi Federal Constituency. And issues of general issues of logistics were partly responsible for why they were inconclusive.
Interesting. So there were issues concerning the 3-man delegate list. You followed the controversy that surrounded it. Even at some point, many stakeholders of your party were thinking that the exercise will not be conducted in Abia State. Now the question is, at what time or at what point did the party show the contestants, the aspirants, the delegate list that was used yesterday?
Well, overnight, those delegate lists were made available at the party office for those who those concerned to go through such a list. That has always been the tradition of our party, to make sure that they are made public at least a day or so to the elections, and that was exactly what was done. The delegate lists are all over the place, and these delegates were
as I will always say, were not imported delegates. They were delegates from wards across constituencies where elections were conducted yesterday.
Okay, Chief, you're confirming that it has always been the tradition of the party to show the contestants, the aspirants in this case, the list overnight, like not even 2 days, not 3 days, just maybe a night before the exercise. Is that the tradition? Is that what you're confirming?
Yes, what I'm saying is that the list was made available to the public before the elections.
What day? When? We want to know, like 2 days, 3 days, because they were supposed to reach out to them.
No, a day. They are known. These delegates were generated from the wards. They are known. They were known to these delegates are known to members of the wards. And a day before the primaries, we also made this information declassified to members of the public, particularly the aspirants.
Apologies for taking you back. I already know your position as far as the status of the delegates election, whether it held or not. But let me just be specific here. You have said in previous instances that that exercise held truly. Am I right?
Continue with your question.
Okay. Now, let's say in Umuahia, for instance, where was the venue? Where did it hold in Umuahia? Where exactly did that exercise hold in Umuahia? For instance, Umuahia's Urban. Can you cite one of the venues in Umuahia where that exercise held?
Which of the exercise are you talking about?
The delegates election that gave rise to the list.
The election took place at the various wards. The delegate elections are decentralized elections. They are not. It's not an election that takes place at a party that is at a central venue. They are decentralized. They take place in the various wards across the states and the various local government areas.
Okay.
So that was not at it's not centralized. The various wards in the various local governments across the states.
Okay. Now, with this backlash that is trailing the exercise, do you fear for the future of PDP in Abia State?
There's no backlash trailing the exercise. The exercise was one of the most peaceful exercises we have ever conducted in the political history of our state, and the exercise is grossly acceptable to the majority of our people, and it's not been contested anywhere.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Chief. If you say there are no backlashes here and there in this contest, now some aspirants, I don't know if you are aware that some aspirants actually stepped down, or rather, they decided not to go ahead with that contest. They cited the issue of irregularities, especially where it affected the delegate list. Some of them express outright grievances here and there. So now I'm asking, they said they are going to appeal this particular contest, going by that delegate list. Now, if they make such appeal and make such complaints, to what effect will that be? Are you going to reverse what you've approved already?
Well, I can tell you, going back to our political history, that in times like this, candidates are known to give themselves some kind of soft landing as a way to withdraw from elections, which they know clearly they will not win. And legally speaking, an appeal is not entered until it is entered. We cannot speak on assumptions, believing that an appeal will be entered where no appeal has been entered. As I speak to you now, no petitions and no appeal has been entered. The exercise has been generally accepted by our people as to have met with their expectation reasonably.
Okay,
and
Chief.
that is the position.
Chief, are you not worried with the number of aspirants that withdrew yesterday from their various elective positions? It is unprecedented. This has never happened in the history of PDP in Abia State. Prior to a primary election, we have 17 aspirants withdrawing.
Well, when we say unprecedented, we cannot affirm that where there is no comparative given. as I speak to you, the number you have just mentioned is very alarming. We know of only about 3 official aspirants who have withdrawn from this exercise. We know about...
Based on what now? Did they withdraw?
Many of them withdrew because for some reason they withdraw on the pressure from their people who said they should give another person. Some of the aspirants who withdraw, one of the aspirants who withdraw is has done a 2-time, and in the area where he comes from, nobody has ever gone for more than 2 terms. So he has just gone for 2 terms, and we wanted to go for 3 terms, and they were pressured from his own constituents not to continue. That is the situation. And then another aspirant who withdrawn because he wanted to run for an office which has been zoned out of his immediate constituency to another local government area. There were also a lot of pressure for him not to continue with the exercise, and he also decided to withdraw. That is what we have seen. So when we talk about unprecedented, there is no comparative.
Okay.
What has happened is a kind of thing we used to see before. Candidates giving themselves soft landing where it becomes very absolutely clear to them that they cannot win an election, and then they decide not to engage themselves in further spending spree and to save themselves of the consequences of spending their money for an election which they will not win. So it is not unprecedented. As we speak, our party leads, others follow, and today we set the political tone, we set the political agenda in our state, and no party comes second to what we are doing.
Okay, Chief, following the development of yesterday's primaries, both the House of Assembly and the House of Representatives, we've seen members of your party, even aspirants, romancing with oppositions in the state. We've seen pictures, we've seen videos. Some of them have gone public, some of them are yet to go public, meaning there might be cracks on the wall. I wouldn't want to mention names here, but I'm sure you understand what I'm talking about. Do you intend to extend the olive branch to those that might have grievances from yesterday's primaries?
Well, it has always been our tradition to extend olive branches. But before coming to the extension of olive branches, going back to our political history again, PDP is the only party standing from 1999 up till date. APC was an amalgamation that came after some time. The same thing with several other parties. Our party is the only party that has stood the test of time in the political history of Nigeria, and there is no other party that has stood the test of time. And what you see today in the politics of Abia and most parts of this country is that a lot of people, a lot of other political parties try to survive by the crumbs that falls from the table of the PDP. And those crumbs is what they eventually use to present as candidates, because they don't have original candidates. They don't have people. There is no these parties don't have original membership. What they have is people who maybe for one reason or the other could not stand the contention within the party, within the party of the PDP, and when they fall off, and then they try to pick up the crumb, and that is exactly what you are seeing now. But whatever is the case, we have we have already put in a machinery in place, a reconciliatory machinery, to make sure that we get our people to sing one song, we get our people to dance one music, and get our people to play one thing, at which by the end of the day will make our party what it has always been, a party that will win election in Abia State, and a party that is prepared to take over the national government of our country.
All right, Chief Abraham Ama, the acting publicity secretary of the PDP in Abia State and the vice chairman of PDP Abia North Senatorial District. Thank you very much for speaking to us this morning on the platform on Flow FM. We do appreciate it.
Thank you.
We will reach out to you as event unfolds in your party, definitely. Well, thank you for speaking to us this morning.
Thank you for the opportunity and privilege.
You're welcome. All right, there you have the official statement, the official position of the People's Democratic Party in Abia State. Ginika Samson.
Well, Chief Abraham Ama, he's got a tough job. I tell you, a very tough job. I don't envy him at this moment. Enjoy it, sir.
Yeah,
but then
he will make the thing look so good, even when we know that.
But the number of
there are issues.
That's his job
the
as
number
the
of
spin
aspirants,
master
of
of the
course.
party.
The number of aspirants that I have here, maybe I should just list their names because I was very specific with the numbers of those that withdrew.
We need to look into different constituencies, how it all played out, and then the statements by these contestants. The statement is clear. I did not accept. I'm paraphrasing. Some of them say I did not accept what happened, but I'll be on the ballot.
Some said
I'll be on the ballot. So are they going to be in the ballot through another party? And that's why they had to withdraw, because but the moment you withdraw, I think the system allows you to switch.
Guys, quickly, just before I let you out of the studio, let's talk about the electoral.
You're asking us to leave, Abi?
Very soon, you will have to step out of
We
the
don't
studio.
even need your approval. We'll soon leave.
I will send you out
just
of the
came
studio.
to help you.
But before I send you out of the studio, let's quickly do the analysis of the Electoral Act that the president is yet to append his signature. As we speak, we have a couple of days to the APC primary. It is already affecting the PDP primary because statutory delegates were not involved, according to what Chief Abraham Amma told us. And I spoke with Chief Jado Kikalu yesterday during the news, and he said it's only the 3-man delegate, even though some aspirants that withdrew said some of these delegates were appointee of the government, which is against the Electoral Act, Section 84, subsection 12. Guys, and the implication.
Okay, now the president has sent the thing to his technical unit, INEC, and then one other man that he sent it to is Malami, who is still nursing his loss. And then
which loss?
They've
not conducted
primary. And
No.
He's yet to withdraw because I understand that he has continued consultation in Kebbi State. Really? Even though he's yet to resign his position as a minister.
No, I'm sure he's waiting for the Supreme Court interpretation of that particular section.
What if this becomes a ball squeezer, like you use it to get the National Assembly?
Your analysis sometimes, the way you are holding your hand saying ball squeezer, I don't get it.
I have to demonstrate it so that you would understand.
You can watch our video on Facebook.
Don't have your boss. I'm saying, what if this becomes an object for APC to clutch on, clutch on, and then tell the National Assembly members, give me the other one and I give you this. The president has 30 days. What if he waits for all these crises to simmer down? No, the crisis to ravage PDP and then he signs it overnight, or maybe Wednesday night, and his party goes on to have a smooth operation, and then
PDP can as well cancel their
PDP would have come back, or the ones they have done.
Yes,
PDP would have withered to its foundation.
As it stands now, the president cannot even participate in the primaries because
does he care? He doesn't care.
Don't forget, he has told you that he has a preferred candidate,
but
he doesn't want to reveal him before people go and kill him.
You know the lesson from all this?
Yes.
When you throw stone into the market, be careful.
Your family, Michael said, be very careful, because Michael said, with the punk that is bad. My land on his head.
Those lawmakers, they were in a rush to clip the wings of the governors, and now the governors can now determine who returns to Abuja, even if you are an ancestor.
All right.
That was a very
we need to take a break, gentlemen of the press,
that they actually clumsy,
so that you can get us off the studio and take calls. Thank you so much for joining me, Gine Kaolo and Samson Eze.
Be nice for once.
I'll still even respond. Just leave him. Let us leave him with his punk.
Thank you guys for joining me this morning on the platform. We'll take a break. When we return, we'll continue the conversation. Then I get to hear from you. What do you make of the primaries that took place yesterday in the People's Democratic Party, especially the one conducted right here in Abia State? And we look at the implication of the president's delay of the Electoral Act 2022. Stay tuned. It is the platform on Flow FM. All right, thank you so much for joining us. It is still the platform, the pinnacle of all discussions right here on Flow 94.9 FM. Let's get to hear from you. The lines are very much open. 0808 182 6949 or 0811-605-2949. You can also drop messages on 0906 510-8289. We're live on Facebook, facebook.com/Flow949FM. Hello, good morning to you. Hello.
Hello, good morning, Mike.
Good morning to you.
Mr. Okafor, I'm calling from Omar.
You're welcome, Mr. Okafor.
Okay. Well, what is playing out the political parties, very especially PDP, this time? Well, I think they should be very straightforward with whatever they are doing and maintain the internal democracy needed. Otherwise, the court is waiting for them to put aside everything they have done. So my advice is just for them to tread carefully and do whatever they are doing democratically. That is my take.
Thank you very much for making it short. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning, Michael.
Good morning.
We say no this name. I'm coming from Omar.
All right.
What is playing out today in yesterday's PDP's primary is expected by people like us. I heard what Ahmed Abraham said. I know during the time of political parties primaries, a lot of things do happen. And I still believe that other parties that are yet to conduct their primaries, we still have one or two misunderstandings. But the issue is what I'm begging other parties, like you said, that some of them are threatening to join other parties. It is not when you've gone for more than 3 times or 4 times, your people rejected you. You are looking for a new party or a party that has been struggling on itself before now. You want to go and join them now to dispense those that are working for the party. I am begging both Abia, both APC, both every other party. Let them, anybody that's from PDP that maybe felt that what happened yesterday wasn't favoring him, join the party. Let the person remain as a member. Let them not give that person ticket to come and contest or to come and destroy their party. So that's the I'm giving to the political party. Thank you
for your contribution. Jose Mano there. Hello, good morning to you. Welcome to the platform on Flow
good
FM.
Morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for joining
Good
us.
morning, other journalists in the house.
All right, let's do this. Go on, please, with your contribution. All right.
I'm calling from an I know this is election season, and the election season is just game of interest. PDP has done their primary the way they choose it. As it stands now, the law backs them based on the present electoral act that has been signed. Furthermore, let's see how President will do when he comes back from wherever he is. But what I know, the election has come and gone. Let everybody do accommodate the election and back at the match. God bless you all.
Thank you for joining us. Hello, good morning. Hello. Good morning.
Yeah, my name is Samuel. I'm calling from Ochoa.
You're welcome, Mr. Samuel.
Inano Chukwuloku government.
All right.
Can you hear me, Mr. Sampson?
Yes, I can hear you. It's Michael. I can hear you.
In respect to the statement of the zonal party chairman, Abia North, Abraham. Yeah, I want to challenge Mr. Abraham to tell us where the said election in Anochukwu State constituency was conducted. Because to the best of my knowledge, we all were there as an observers and as a party men from Anochukwu State constituency to observe the process. No party, no delegate from the state, from the party office was present. And also the returning officer, Honorable Jogu, I challenge Honorable Jogu to tell us or come up with a photograph that he met any of the aspirants.
I think he mentioned that that of Arochukwu. He said Arochukwu or Hafia Federal constituency is inconclusive.
It's straight that Adama Abraham is making every frantic effort to install his younger brother as a member of the state constituency. I am also telling him that all efforts in direction will light of the.
Okay, that's a direct confrontation. I believe you have your internal structures to see to whatever issues that you have. But then we do appreciate your contribution. Definitely appreciate. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning, Michael.
Hello, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, I'm on the line. Can you hear me?
All right, Sir Ike.
Yes, the fact remains that there is no any primaries in other states, PDP as a party. All those things that happen is a common jamboree. Because personally, I kick against it. You cannot select individuals in the name of primaries and still hide those identities from the rest. I want to also blame those aspirants who accepted to go into the contest what happened yesterday. And now they are carrying foul. You knew that the process is wrong. You could have picked your boycott. You still went ahead to participate in the process. And now you are failed and you are still carrying foul. It doesn't make any meaning. That's the issue. You're supposed to back out. Like the other factions or the other party aspirants and governorship level are doing. That's what other individuals in local states are supposed to do. So the PDP should sit up and do the right thing so that they will not end up like Zamfara. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us, Sir Ike. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Mike.
Good morning.
I am Mr. Chinedu Temakon. I'm calling you from Umuchi.
All right, Mr. Chinedu, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. You see, we have suffered in the hands of PDP so much. We have seen the oasis of our lives in the hands of PDP. There is no development in Abia State. And I want to say PDP, to me, I have never voted since I was born. But I'm going to cast out my vote to Abia this time. I have seen somebody that will give us light. And the person is in Abia now. So we are going to vote PDP out. PDP. I'm sorry. Whatever that is happening to you now, you caused it. You can never win election in Abia State again. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. White Picking on our Facebook page says, good morning, Michael, Samson and Ginika. What is happening in PDP? Let them resolve their problem. Well, congrats to Honorable Chinedu Moji for winning the primaries. He will surely win 2023. Ovuna Dickland says, watching from Ebonyi State. Good morning, thank you for joining. Ezekiel Elvis says, good morning, Michael, gentlemen in the studio of the truth. It's crystal clear and very obvious for all to see that serious crisis is rocking and is about to sink the PDP in Abia State. If they don't put their house in order before 2023, it might spell impending doom for them. We are watching with keen interest. Much love, Florida. Thank you for joining us this morning. We do appreciate you. Of course, Chinyere on our SMS line says, PDP in Abia is laying the foundation for its defeat during the forthcoming 2023 general elections. How I wish they will learn to do things right. Join us later in the evening. That's at 8:30 p.m. We will continue this analysis and we will share with you more development in the PDP. In fact, ripples from the primaries conducted yesterday by the PDP in Abia State. Even as we look ahead, of course, awaiting primaries in other 17 political parties that we have in the state. The primaries continues, of course, for all the political parties. We still have the House, the Senate, and the governorship primaries to monitor and to report to you. So keep the dial locked right here on Flow 94.9 FM. Many thanks to my producer, Samson Eze, my guest, Ginika Oloha, and also Wisdom Thomas for ensuring that the program is a success today, and also the guys behind the visuals on our Facebook page, Stanley and Chinedu. Do enjoy the rest of your day. Stay out of trouble. My name is Michael Oni.